So now, which one is this? Look at it. Look at it. I'm going to play it for you.
No, this is not Eke. They kidnap one man now. They kidnap one man. This man that carries hand. They kidnap somebody who gets this motor now along AK Express Road.
Okay, this is AK. That is AK Gede. And this is in Enugu State. Enugu State is in the southeastern part of Nigeria also. So for those who think that this thing is just happening in the northeast, now in the southern part of Nigeria as well.
They kidnap AK. Now the Arsenal the three. They just kidnap one now along AK Express Road by Alpha.
Okay. 3 persons were kidnapped. 3 persons who were in this vehicle were just recently kidnapped as at the time of the making of that video there. And these are vigilante people, local vigilante people, trying to raise alarm so that people will know. And they were calling on their colleagues to see if they could go into search. All right. This is what is going on. Are you following? So, and don't think that the international community is not aware of this. They are aware, but they want it to continue happening for some reasons, that is to their own benefit. For some reasons that are to their in their own interest. You will see some of the interest they have. While we are busy talking about terrorism ravaging our communities, these people are busy. They won't talk about this problem. They won't talk about it. They won't try to solve it because it doesn't suit their narrative. All right. The only time they will talk about it is if the community people are the ones attacking these terrorists. I tell you, the kind of outrage that will come out of it. Let me prove it to you because somehow some of us may not agree with what I'm saying. Do you remember when, in fact, the only time that Goodluck Jonathan decided to fight Boko Haram after dilly-dallying, telling them, asking them to come for them to sit on a round table and negotiate. At some point, because they eventually didn't come for the negotiation, he decided to go all out against Boko Haram to decimate them. Do you remember what happened? You still remember what happened? They kidnapped some school children, some school girls from Chibok, okay, and took them into the Sambisa forest. And before you knew it, they were what do they call it? They were protests in America, in the United States. Protests happened in Nigeria a bit, bring back the so-called popular bring back our girls. And before you knew it, it was in America. It was Obama's wife that was carrying the placard protesting against Jonathan. And when Jonathan decided to make a move to decimate these people, another uproar came up again that he was deliberately sacking communities in the northeastern part of Nigeria, that he was deliberately, eliminating innocent people in the northern part of Nigeria. That was the narrative again. It was a propaganda against Jonathan. Everywhere was, roaring with the propaganda. Hey, Jonathan is eliminating innocent people. Jonathan is eliminating communities. Jonathan is, because there was an attempt to, decimate these criminals who are working for the globalists in Nigeria. Who formed Boko Haram? Who sponsored Boko Haram? We heard from the American senator that Boko Haram has been under the sponsorship and financing of USAID. Just to tell you what you need to know. So anything you do to stop these terrorists from operating, they will come after you. They will come after you with propaganda. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, all of them will come against you with all sorts of propaganda. We had what happened in Burkina Faso when Ibrahim Traore decided to go against the Fulani terrorists. He's still Fulani terrorists, okay, in Burkina Faso, and decimated them, eliminated a lot of them. Do you know what the news said? BBC, what do they call them? Human Rights Watch, okay, Huriwa of United Nations, all of them came up against President Ibrahim Traore, that he was deliberately eliminating innocent Fulanis. But these were terrorists who were operating somewhere in Burkina Faso. And the army went against them, went after them, decimated them, eliminated a lot of them. The news turned around to say that Ibrahim Traore sent his men to go and eliminate innocent Fulanese. Innocent. This is how they change the narrative. Once you go against these their actors, they will change the narrative and begin to blackmail you. The same way they blackmailed Jonathan, the same way they blackmailed Benjamin Netanyahu. But if you are not defending yourself against these their evil actors, the terrorists, they won't talk about your case. They are happy. They are happy for these terrorists to continue to eliminate your people. This is what is playing out. And that is why I call on everybody that has his senses up and running in the southern part of Nigeria, to know that there is a very well orchestrated plan to eliminate the Igbos, to eliminate Biafrans from where they are occupying, which is their ancestral home, the way they have eliminated a lot of thief people in Benue. Okay? And we should not allow that to happen. We have an army now, which is the Biafra Liberation Force. Go and support it. Go and support. It is only these people that can face these terrorists face to face, because they come with very sophisticated weapons. It is not something you do local vigilante with pump action and they will start. It cannot work. You have to face them with machine gun, because that's what they come with. Okay, we have Biafra Liberation Forces. Forget about whether you like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or you hate Mazi Simon Ekpa. The Biafran government is there. Biafra Republic government in exile, ably led currently by Mazi Ogenkere in acting capacity, waiting for Mazi Simon Ekpa to finish his court case and come back and continue leading. We are also expecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out of the DSS dungeon of Nigeria and continue leading. We must fight these terrorists and cast them out of our society. Otherwise, they will occupy our society, chase us out, occupy it, and begin to do their business of selling our mineral resources to these globalists, wicked globalists. That is their aim. They are here for ethnic cleansing. They are here for elimination and domination. They eliminate you, they dominate you, they take over your territory. This is what they are doing for America, Britain, and France, and some other European countries. And we should not allow it. Go and donate to Biafra Republic government in exile every Saturday, go and donate your money there. There are people, there are men on ground who are ready to sacrifice their lives and fight these terrorists. The international community are not ready to talk for you. They are not ready to talk on your behalf. They are not ready to defend you. They want you to even buy, so that they will come and begin to do their business freely. You should begin to use your head now. Don't say, I'm not interested in Biafra. Whether you are interested or not, when these terrorists invade your community, you will become a victim. You will become, even if you are not eliminated in their activity, when they occupy your territory, you can no longer go back there. So you better begin to use your senses. If you are from the south, if you are from the southeastern part of Nigeria, Biafra land, you are an Igbo, begin now to use your senses. Don't go on continuing to expand your business when you have not secured your territory. These people will just come there and destroy your businesses. The first thing to do is secure your territory. And the best way to do it is not through vigilante, it is through Biafra Liberation Army. Go and donate every Saturday. You may not announce your name, but the men doing the job are there doing justice. Okay? Go and do that. This coming Saturday is another day. Let's listen to this. Look at what these people are rather trying to address, the issue they are addressing instead of addressing the issue of security. That is to tell you what these people have in mind against you as an ordinary African or somebody from Nigeria or somebody from the southeastern part of Nigeria, an Igbo or a Biafran. Listen.
That the key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health. And that's the only thing that really counts. This is a bit scary. We go from less than a billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is.
Okay, so you know this man, that is Bill Gates, always preaching about population reduction, but he has not reduced the population of his family. Look at him. But he wants to reduce the population of other families and other countries, and his target is always Africa. And for those of you Africans who think that Bill Gates is a philanthropist, always giving you free drug, free this, free that, what did you do for him to be giving you all those things? He is giving you something that will destroy your life. That is what he's saying, that he wants to reduce population. He has been preaching this for quite a very long time, and he's targeting Nigeria. He says that Nigeria is becoming a place of concern because the population of Nigeria is increasing, and we get to 800 million persons by the end of this century. So it is a concern to Bill Gates. He wants to reduce the population of Nigeria. Look at him. And you are in Nigeria, and this thing does not mean anything to you, right? Don't worry.
It's happening even faster. Nigeria is headed to be the third largest country in the world, 800 million by the end of the century. So actually,
did you hear that? So he wants to reduce your population.
China will have shrunk by then. Is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible?
You see that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible, rather. That is going to be impossible. So he wants to reduce your population, but he has not reduced his family population. Why not start it from your family if you think that population reduction is worth doing? Why do you want to come to Nigeria? Why do you want to come to Africa to reduce population? This is to tell you that all these terrorist activities are deliberate. They want to come from every direction. They want to use the security, the insecurity, that is sending terrorists to come and reduce your population. And if that doesn't work, they introduce another system, biological means. I will show you more.
Particularly as people get richer, they tend to eat more meat. If we don't do anything, this sector will actually grow over time.
So you're saying not just the fact that there's more people and a larger population, but as people move up towards the middle class, they want to consume more meat.
The one that has gone better than I would have expected 5 years ago is this work to make what's called artificial meat.
You eat it.
Artificial meat. So he's advocating for artificial meat instead of natural meat. What does that tell you? It tells you that he doesn't want you to live. He wants you to eat artificial things so that the life expectancy of people will be reduced very, very drastically, so that before you know it, somebody will just go. Somebody will just go and join his ancestors without getting old enough. But he doesn't want to buy. But he wants other people to buy before time by eating artificial meat. We are going to another one. This is to tell you what their interest is about you, that their interest is not to, is not in your own interest. It is not to save your life or to make you to live longer. All these things they bring about, drug and whatever, it is to shorten your life or make you sterile, make you unproductive, so as to reduce the population of your place. This is where they are focusing, instead of stopping the security, because the insecurity, rather, instead of stopping the insecurity, because the insecurity is also achieving their aim of reducing your population. Let's go. Now, why is ginger now very expensive in Nigeria? Listen to this. A man confessed. He said, "Good morning, sir. I farm ginger in Kafanchan. Kafanchan is in Kaduna State of Nigeria, northern part of Nigeria, where Nigeria produces some of the best quality ginger in the world. In fact, countries like China and India often buy Nigerian ginger, mix it with their own, which is larger in size but lacks pungency. Additionally, Nigerian ginger is exported to European market and sold as though it originates from those countries. However, a major challenge we are facing currently is the use of pesticides supplied by USAID, supply pesticide to these people. And what is the pesticide doing? He said, which are causing black spots on our ginger. Many of these pesticides contain copper-based fungicides such as copper oxychloride and copper sulfate, copper sulfate, yeah, chlorothalonil, chlorothalonil, di, dithio, carbamates, yeah, the thiocarbamates like mancozeb, untiram, organophosphates, carbamates, and excessive sulfur-based compounds. These chemicals can lead to phytotoxicity, chemical burns, and weaken plant defenses, making the ginger more susceptible to fungal and bacterial infections. As a result, black spots are appearing on the ginger, affecting its quality and market value. This issue needs urgent attention to ensure that Nigerian ginger retains its high quality and continues to be a top choice in the global market. And who told you that these people don't know what they did? They may just come up one day and tell you, oh, we discovered that there is something wrong. We will give you another chemical that will take care of that. They will give you another chemical that will take care of this black spot, but introduce another problem. So this thing will continue happening as long as you continue to depend on these people for supplies of things like pesticide, insecticide, herbicide, and whatever. Stop depending on them. Do your farming the way you've been doing it. These people are not there to help you. They are here to destroy you. Let's move on. So this is for you to know the mindset of these people towards you as an African, as somebody from Nigeria, as somebody that is not from Europe. Listen to this man. This is Robert F. Kennedy, okay? Robert Kennedy Jr. He is in charge of the health sector of America currently under President Trump. Listen to what he has to say about Bill Gates. For those of you who think that Bill Gates is a good philanthropist, listen to this man. Not me talking, but his fellow American.
I know most about Gates, because I've written a book about him, and that what he calls philanthrocapitalism, which is you use philanthropy.
So Bill Gates runs what he calls philanthrocapitalism. Philanthropism, from there he makes his money, okay? And you think he's helping you.
To make yourself rich, and you use it strategically, and that's what he's done again and again. He's gotten control of the World Health Organization so that they mandate vaccines all over the world, and the companies that make those vaccines are Gates is, in many of them, the major shareholder.
Okay, so he's a major shareholder of the companies that manufacture vaccines, and he's involved in the distribution of these vaccines through many international health organizations and to many countries.
And he did the same thing with the Green Revolution. He got a hold of the regulatory agencies in African countries and forced them to take to change the nature of agriculture. There's 20,000 generations of agriculture of people.
He forced many African countries to change their agricultural practices.
Growing crops like sorghum and plantains and yucca and all these plants for subsistence. And he said, no, we're going to transfer them all to these, GMO monocultures of corn, and then we're going to bring in companies that he owns, crap.
Okay, so now instead of you farming your own crops, he said, no, tell them to stop, that we're going to supply them with our own crops, which they will plant. And what are these crops? These are genetically modified organisms, genetically modified crops, which you cannot just plant the crop and it will germinate. It is still Bill Gates that will tell you how to plant the crops, and after planting it and it produces fruits, those fruits you cannot plant them and they germinate. You have to go back to Bill Gates to buy more seedlings or seeds the next planting season.
Kraft, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, these big food companies, processing companies to buy that, and that's going to be the deal.
So these food companies he mentioned are the companies that trade with the organizations he heads. He's a major shareholder in, and they process the crops. Okay.
And then, of course, during COVID, all of that shut down, and you had, there's 30 million Africans now as a direct result of Gates' policy who are now on the edge of starvation.
Now, many African countries are at the edge of starvation. Did you hear that?
Tell that story that you shared with me a couple of years ago about the vaccines that Gates sent over supposedly for women that, I don't know, was to control birth control or what? I don't remember exactly.
That's another, I think the real tell was what happened with the DTP vaccine, which is diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis.
Okay, so for those of you who know about all these vaccines, okay, there was a time it was very popular in Nigeria that they should vaccinate young girls with these vaccines, okay, and this is where they are going to tell you what the vaccines are all about. The lady who spoke earlier mentioned a bit of it and said that it was to cause sterility, okay, unproductivity.
Because of Gates pushing this shot.
Because Gates is pushing it. It is Gates that is always pushing it to these countries.
It's now the #1 vaccine in the world, DTP. And it's mainly given in Africa. It was that particular shot is discontinued in the United States because it was killing or badly injuring 1 out of every 300 kids who took it. We ended it in Europe and the United States.
They ended the vaccine in Europe and the United States. But guess what happened?
But Gates is giving it to every kid in Africa.
But Gates is giving it to every kid in Africa. Something they ended because it was eliminating at least 1 in every 300 children. All right? But Gates deliberately pushed it to Africa.
And in 2017, he asked the Danish government for money to support this program, and it said, we've saved 20 million kids.
So in 2017, he asked the Danish government, that's the government of Denmark, to support him financially to run the program in their country, that they have saved 20 million kids, 20 million children. And guess what happened?
The Danish government said, can you show us the data?
Okay, this is where people use their head, because this is where I blame African leaders. They just accept things because they are free. They don't ask questions. But the Danish government asked Bill Gates, show us data of how potent your vaccine is.
He couldn't. So the Danish government
could not. Gates could not show them data.
Went and did its own study, and they had records of 30 years of this vaccine in a country called Guinea-Bissau.
So Danish government studied the activities of this drug in Guinea-Bissau in Africa.
And
guess what?
They looked at the records, and what they realized in retrospect, which they were never seeing, is that the girls who were getting that vaccine at 6 months of age were 10 times more likely to die.
Okay, so the children who were taking the vaccine in Guinea-Bissau were likely to be eliminated, to lose their lives.
The next 6 months as children who didn't get it. Wow. And they were dying of things that nobody on the ground had ever associated with vaccination. They were dying of anemia and bilharzia and malaria and dysentery and nobody had made the connection that it's only the girls who got the vaccine who were dying of those things, that the other kids were much healthier. And the Danish government.
So when these children when they were losing their children, they could not connect it to the vaccine, okay?
Had retained the greatest vaccine scientists. All of them were pro-vaccine. A guy called Peter A. Aby, who's like a deity in that space, and another guy called Sigrid Morgensen. And a whole team of scientists knew that. And those scientists started speaking up and saying, you got to discontinue this vaccine. And their careers, Gates made sure their careers were destroyed.
Okay, so when they discovered that this vaccine was responsible for the elimination of these children, they began to speak up and to say that they should discontinue the administering of the vaccine on children. But how many children have been lost? And can I just ask you again, how many African countries have discontinued this nonsensical and dangerous and how can I put it? This dangerous business with Bill Gates. How many African countries have been bold enough to tell Bill Gates to hell with your drugs and philanthropism? We don't want it anymore, because there have been very many records of all these reports of all these sterilizing of people, making them to become unproductive and leading to their early deaths with all these free drugs, free vaccines, and all the rest of them. And now it is genetically modified organism, that is genetically modified food, genetically modified meat, genetically modified chicken, genetically modified all sorts of things, artificial meat. Why wouldn't African leaders stand their feet and tell Bill Gates, get out of our space, we don't want you? This is where the problem lies. So as an African, you just have to, know this and know peace, and begin to be very careful what you consume, and also speak up against this rubbish. And also, if you have the wherewithal to talk to your politicians, talk to them and tell them to condemn this. And if you can, please condemn them. But for those of us Biafrans, I urge you, let us fight seriously and separate from Nigeria, because that's not just the only time that we can run a government that speaks for us. So long as we remain in Nigeria, Nigerian government is only interested in receiving. They will accept anything and administer on anybody without asking questions. They don't care how how you feel about it, how it deals with you, because these are very, very terrible criminals, okay, in positions of authority. So we have to fight very hard to release ourselves, free ourselves from Nigeria. I mean, for Biafrans, okay? Don't say I am not a Biafran, because when what will happen, you will also be a victim, all right? So this is what I just said to present to you, so that you know what is going on and know the right thing to do. We have the right thing to do. Separate from Nigeria. Make your contributions to our army to fight our way out of Nigeria, so we have our own government that will be taking care of us very well. You saw what the Danish government did. They protected their citizens. This is what Biafra will be doing for her citizens, not the contraption called Nigeria, where the government doesn't care for anybody. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. People lose their lives in hundreds every day. What do? Nothing. Instead, they tell you, no, don't touch the terrorists, because the terrorists are working for their colonial masters. It's terrible. Men and brethren, thank you for listening. Thank you for your company. Okay, but begin now to use your head and stop believing that any what do they call it, that election can solve Nigeria's problem. Whoever is coming in there tomorrow is still going to play the card of Britain. If you don't, they will eliminate you from the office. That was what they did to Jonathan. Jonathan wanted to play a good game in the interest of the citizens. That was how they threw him out. That was why they threw him out. Jonathan was thrown out by America and Britain. And anybody who wants to do the right thing will also be thrown out. So the only way for us to have a good government is by separating from that contraption called Nigeria. It is a curse. Nigeria is a curse. Thank you very much once again, and bye for now.